You're watching North Alabama's news leader. This is News 19 at 4.
I want to emphasize as much as I can. And we're concerned about everybody, but there's going to be some law enforcement officers somewhere in this country or this state that's going to come across this guy. And I can't emphasize enough to our brothers and sisters in blue, don't take any chances with this guy. He's dangerous.
At this hour, law enforcement agencies across the Southeast are on alert looking for signs of a missing inmate and corrections officer. That's where we begin your News 19 at 4. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Greg Screws.
And I'm Christine Killemeyer. Casey White, who is facing a capital murder charge, and Lauderdale County Assistant Director of Corrections, Vicki White, have been missing since Friday. News 19's Jerry Hayes joins us now live in Lauderdale County. So, Jerry, what's the latest on this manhunt that you can tell us?
Well, Christine, as you know, today marks the 4th day of searching for that inmate, Casey White, who Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton describes as, quote, extremely dangerous. Now, earlier, the sheriff announced that they have issued a warrant, an arrest warrant now, for the Assistant Director of Corrections, Vicki White, who worked right here. Now, they share a last name, but once again, they are not related. Sheriff Singleton says at this point they do know that Vicki White took part in his escape, but they're trying to determine whether or not she was actually threatened. The deputies also say that they are looking into the possibility of a romantic relationship between Casey White and Vicki White. News 19's Addison Willman was at that briefing earlier today the Sheriff Singleton held. And Addison, according to the sheriff, last Friday was supposed to be Vicki White's last day at work.
That's right, Jerry. Sheriff Singleton says Vicki White worked for the department for 16 years. And before Friday, she had been talking about her retirement for months. Friday was supposed to be her last day at the jail. And after that, she told co-workers that she actually planned to go to the beach. But that never happened. Friday, she told other corrections officers she was going to take Casey White to the Lauderdale County Courthouse for a mental health evaluation. But when Vicki White left the detention center, her patrol car never arrived at the courthouse. Instead, Sheriff Singleton says that she went directly to a shopping center on Cox Creek Parkway near Huntsville Road. Surveillance footage confirmed that White stopped at a nearby red light only minutes after taking Casey White from the detention center.
That video was time-stamped at 9:49 a.m. Director White and Casey White left the detention center at 9:41 a.m. There was not enough time for them to even attempt to try to come to the courthouse and then get out there and be at that red light 8 minutes later.
News 19 has learned that earlier this month, Vicki White sold her home for $95,500. Earlier this morning, Sheriff Singleton announced an arrest warrant has been issued for Vicki White. The U.S. Marshals Service is offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of Casey White and Vicki White. The FBI, ATF, Secret Service, and Alabama Law Enforcement Agency are assisting in the search to find the two. For now, live in Lauderdale County, Addison Willman, News 19.
Addison, thank you. Now, Casey White was already serving 75 years in prison after being convicted for attempted murder, burglary, and kidnapping. And some of you may remember that those stemmed from a crime spree in December of 2015 that covered 2 counties and 2 states. And then, while he was in prison, he reportedly confessed to being hired to kill Connie Ridgway, who was murdered in 2015. Now, according to the sheriff, Vicki White had a 9mm service revolver on her after leaving the county jail. And given Casey White's violent history, officials say they want to stress caution around either of those 2 suspects right now. So if you see Casey or Vicki, do not engage. Just pick up your phone and call 911. Now, while we do know some of the details, the bottom line at this point is the sheriff's office did not say and apparently doesn't know what kind of vehicle they were actually driving or where they may be headed. Coming up tonight on News 19 at 5 and 6, we're going to break down Casey White's history and hear from the man who captured him the last time that he was on the run. News 19, of course, will continue to bring you the latest on this search all evening right here. Live in Lauderdale County, Jerry Hayes, News 19.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with Chief Meteorologist Danielle Dozier.
Good afternoon. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that continues here in the areas in the yellow box. This warning is in effect until 4:15. Look at all of the clouds to ground lightning over Cortland right now. Even a stronger thunderstorm just south and east of Rogersville. So this is going to continue to lift toward the northeast at about 15 miles per hour. And where you're seeing that pink and that black shaded color just around the Cortland area and to the north, that's where we have the hail core right now. So the warning is in effect for the potential of 1-inch hail, which is quarter size. Also the potential for some 60-mile-per-hour winds. But as this continues to track up toward the northeast, Lucy's Branch at about 428, Coxie at 441, although I am noticing it taking more of a northerly jog, at least that hail course. So we'll keep you posted on how this unfolds, and if any new warnings are issued, we'll break back in and let you know. But for now, go ahead and send it back to you guys at the desk.
Alabama has one of the lowest COVID-19 vaccination rates in the country. Fewer than 60% of the population has gotten through the full vaccination series. News 19's Emily Mosner is digging into those vaccination rates as we're seeing a slowdown in COVID-19 cases. She joins us now live in Huntsville with the latest. Emily.
Good afternoon. Well, I've spoken with two local doctors about overall COVID-19 vaccination numbers. Now, while they tell me that new case numbers are down, now is not the time to give up on those vaccination efforts. The Alabama State COVID-19 dashboard shows a little more than 2.3 million people have been fully vaccinated. That means they got both initial doses of the 2-dose vaccine or 1 dose of the single-dose vaccine. However, tracking booster shot numbers is a bit more difficult. The Alabama COVID dashboard does not track booster shots. I've reached out to several area hospitals to see how many booster shots they've administered. Huntsville Hospital says they've administered around 17,000 shots, and I've not heard back from others at this time. Now, a district medical officer with the Alabama Department of Public Health estimates around 20% of fully vaccinated people in the state have followed through with a booster shot.
So we want people that to know that the booster doses are available, that they should get them, that they can prevent that severe disease, and that COVID is still there, and we're still watching for any future surges in the number of cases.
Over the weekend, Dr. Deborah Birx, formerly of the White House Coronavirus Response Task Force under the Trump administration, made comments predicting a surge in cases in southern states over the summer. Now, I asked Dr. Stubblefield about that predicted surge, and I'll have his answer for you coming up tonight at 5 o'clock. But for now, live in Huntsville, Emily Mosner, News 19.
U.S. Senator Rand Paul claims he's going to wage a vigorous review into the origin of the coronavirus if Republicans retake the Senate and he lands a committee chairmanship. Paul spoke to supporters at a campaign rally in Kentucky Saturday. He's seeking a third term, and he says he's in line to assume a committee chairmanship if Republicans win Senate control after the November election. And with that power, he says he's going to get to the bottom of where the virus came from. U.S. intelligence agencies remain divided on the origins of COVID-19, but believe China's leaders did not know about the virus before the start of the pandemic. The U.S. Census Bureau is changing the criteria for what is considered an urban area. Instead of people, housing units will now be used as the basis for calculating urban designation. An area must have at least 2,000 housing units, the equivalent of 5,000 people, to be considered urban. Under the new requirements, more than 1,300 small cities, towns, and villages designated urban a decade ago will now be considered rural. That would affect which areas qualify for specific federal funding for things like health clinics, transportation, and education. Happening tomorrow, President Biden will make a stop in Troy to tour the Lockheed Martin facility. That facility makes Javelin missiles used by Ukraine to defend itself from Russian attacks. The Javelin missiles produced by the Troy plant received national attention in February when a photo went viral showing them stamped with Troy, Alabama. That prompted Governor Ivey to comment that she wants, quote, the last thing Putin ever reads to be made in Alabama. However, a spokesperson for the governor says she will not be involved in the visit with the president due to prior commitments. This will be President Biden's first stop in Alabama since a campaign stop in September of 2019 when he visited Birmingham.
Are you or someone you know looking for a job? The United States Postal Service has some positions open for you. The USPS will be hosting a job fair Wednesday at the Madison Post Office. That's the location on Hughes Road. That job fair will take place from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The post office is hiring for open positions in Athens, Decatur, Florence, Huntsville, and Madison. The fair is part of a 10-year plan titled Delivering for America. It's focused on building a more stable and empowered workforce. Those who cannot attend the job fair but are interested in jobs can check out WHNT.com for more information. Just search Postal Service. Country music star Jake Owen will open Huntsville Hospital Foundation's 33rd annual Huntsville Classic. This event will be the first to take place at the new Orion Amphitheater. This event will happen Saturday. It'll be the first performance there. Doors open at 7 p.m. Show slated to start at 8. Owen will perform some of his biggest hits, including Barefoot Blue Jean Night, Beachin', and Alone with You. For information on where you can buy tickets, just check out WHNT.com.
American diplomats return to Ukraine today as evacuations in Mariupol continue. Next up on News 19 at 4, the push for billions more in aid for Ukraine.
And on Wall Street today, a late rally in big tech stocks helped the markets erase an afternoon slump to start the week off in the green. At closing, the Dow was up 84 points. The Nasdaq was up 201 at the end of the trading day, and the S&P 500 was up 24. We'll be right back.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast, sponsored by Greenway of the Shoals. No fees whatsoever on your next. Now, your Weather Authority forecast, sponsored by Greenway of the Shoals. No fees whatsoever on your next car. A new way, the right way. Greenwayoftheshoals.com.
Welcome back into weather. You're looking at some weather video from earlier today out at Ditto Landing, where we had a mix of sun and clouds. It's been a very warm day and a humid day. Now we have showers and storms ongoing on the radar. Let me show you. We have a newly issued severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for portions of eastern Lauderdale County, eastern Colbert County, northern Lawrence County, western Limestone County. For this cluster of showers and storms that continues to move to the northeast at about 15 miles per hour. Also have this cell here that's in northwestern Limestone County that's really pulsed up. We have quite a bit of cloud to ground lightning associated with these warnings. This morning in effect until 4:45. You can see all of the cloud to ground lightning, very heavy rainfall, and at times we've seen some hail cores associated with this activity today. All the hail cores are showing up in some of those pinkish shaded colors that you're seeing, and we certainly had one that was just around the Cortland area just a few moments ago. So this thunderstorm will continue to track up toward the northeast with time, and just be alert to changing weather conditions. If you're in the areas in the yellow box, you're going to want to head indoors because the storm is capable of producing that hail that could be up to about quarter size, as well as 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And of course, the Weather Authority will keep you posted on any new storms that develop throughout the rest of tonight. Locally heavier rainfall, the strong wind gusts, the hail, those will be the threats out of storms tonight. Not looking at a tornado threat, but again, that's enough to where you could get some very small dents in your car when you start getting hail up around quarter size. Temperatures are in the 80s in some spots. It's 84 in Huntsville, 86 in Scottsboro, 82 in Fayetteville, upper 70s though in Athens, and we've gotten as high as 87 degrees in Huntsville today, marking the warmest we have seen since October 1st. Dew points are in the 60s right now. That's a humid feel to the air, making it feel like the mid to upper 80s in some spots, so we're out there sweating. Make sure you have the water if you're out for a walk. Also our Live Alert 19 weather app, because we will be tracking a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms, especially across northwest Alabama through tonight. 65 overnight tonight with 5 to 10 mile-per-hour winds. Again, a couple of pop-up showers and storms will be possible through tonight, and especially across northwest Alabama. Here's a look at 8 p.m. and then we go into about 10, 11 o'clock. A couple of those showers and embedded thunderstorms will push across the border of Alabama and Tennessee, and then those will be out of here. And as we head through the day Tuesday, it'll be partly sunny for us. Just a slight chance for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm on Tuesday. It'll be a very warm and breezy day with high temperatures climbing into the mid-80s at about 85 degrees. Our extended forecast showing the warm and humid air continuing. More rounds of storms coming in Tuesday night into Wednesday, and then again a stronger risk of storms coming in Thursday into Friday. Something we'll focus a little bit more attention on as we go into the next half hour. Also wanted to let you know we have a brand new dual extended forecast for the Shoals and Sand Mountain. I believe that this is going to be very beneficial for all of you, and I've heard all of your comments on social media, so I wanted to bring you the latest, and the latest that you can get here on News 19 is the Shoals and Sand Mountain extended forecast for your area. Very warm and humid with a chance for showers and storms as we head into the first part of the weekend.
All right, thank you, Danielle. Today, U.S. Embassy staff took a day trip to Ukraine with the goal of returning to its capital by the end of May. And congressional Democrats are hoping to pass the president's request for an additional $33 billion in aid for Ukraine during that same time frame. Russia's assault rages on in the eastern and southern parts of the country, though Ukrainian forces continue to fight back. Ukraine's naval forces recently released video saying that it shows a drone strike on Russian patrol boats in the Black Sea. And in Mariupol, buses carried civilians rescued from a bombarded steel plant with plans to evacuate even more.
We expect to continue to do day trips. We very much hope that the conditions will permit us to go back into Kyiv by the end of the month.
Later this week, First Lady Jill Biden will travel to Romania and Slovakia, where she'll visit with U.S. military members serving with NATO, aid workers, and Ukrainian refugees. In national news, a Trump-appointed federal judge has ruled against the Republican National Committee. This comes as the January 6th committee seeks data about whether the RNC's fundraising efforts after the 2020 election helped stoke violence during the insurrection when the Capitol was attacked in an effort to overturn the election. Judge Timothy Kelly rejected the RNC's legal arguments that the January 6th committee is not legitimate. Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger told CBS News he thinks former Vice President Mike Pence should testify before the committee next month during public hearings.
I would hope and think that the vice president would want to come in and tell his story because he did do the right thing on that day. If he doesn't, then we'll look at the options we have available to us if there's information we don't already have.
Meanwhile, severe staff shortages made worse after the January 6th attack is forcing the Capitol to outsource duties normally handled by the Capitol Police. U.S. Capitol Police Chief Thomas Manger says that as of late March, the department was short approximately 300 officers from what it needs, forcing other officers to work overtime and have vacations canceled.
I've got some more apps to know, including one that offers personal training at an incredibly low price, plus another that lets you scan sports cards to see how much they're worth. I'm Rich DeMuro. That's coming up in TechSmart.
And a federal judge ruled the Lawrence County School Board can close R.A. Hubbard High School by the end of the year. How a community is expressing its outrage. That's coming up at 4:30. In consumer news, the cost of living continues to go up, and that includes housing. Renters are seeing major price hikes. Miami has seen rents jump 58% in just the last 2 years. Memphis is up 41%, Las Vegas 34%, and in Phoenix, renters are paying 29% more on average. Realtor.com chief economist Danielle Hale says renters are getting priced out of many cities across the country. She expects overall rental rates to grow around 7% in 2022. That's higher than most years, but lower than the double-digit growth in 2021. Well, personal training at an incredibly low price, and a quick way to find out if a baseball card is worth anything.
And let me guess. There's an app for that. Rich DeMuro has more in today's text more. I mean, it's amazing.
Personal training, once reserved for the rich and famous, now affordable and available to everyone through an app called HipTrain.
One of the big advantages is you've got a professional who's trained on how the human body works, helping you accomplish your goals.
The price tag, just $7 for a 30-minute session, $14 for a full hour of one-on-one instruction.
You will get a world-class personal trainer. They will be on a video conference with you. They'll put together your workout plan based on your goals. They'll count your reps. They'll correct your form in real time. And they're going to sweat right alongside you.
The first week is free, and you always get the same trainer.
You hold your phone really close to your face, and while looking at the text, and you start pulling it out until it becomes readable.
IQ's My Reader Number app helps you figure out which reading glasses to get.
All of us notice this problem at a restaurant.
It's called presbyopia, and it mostly starts after age 40. The telltale sign? Menus get tougher to read in low light. The $3 app does a quick vision test using augmented reality.
This really solves the problem of, do you need it, and what power do you need that works best for you?
Finally, Collects is an app that lets you scan sports cards to see how much they're worth.
We were really struggling to find the prices for cards.
Developed by a New Jersey father and son, the app reveals average prices in seconds on baseball, football, and basketball cards.
We pull a lot of prices from eBay, and we calculate those into averages. So the average is usually based on the last 10 transactions within the last 6 months.
Gum, not included.
I really like just going through the pack and then finding that really good player, and you're like, oh my God, this is so cool.
I'm guessing there aren't any Honus Wagner cards in there, though.
No, they're not. And the people in my age are in the bracket where if we had one, or a Mickey Mantle card, or a Hank Aaron card. I used to have a Hank Aaron card. We put it in our bicycle spokes. Being the brilliant kids we were.
Really upping that value.
Oh.
More financial advice when we return.
Because I'm so good at it.
Okay, I didn't get a mic check yet, so that's why I was asking. Mic check 1 2 3 5 4 3 2 1 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. It's raining cats and dogs. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hi. Hi, can you hear me? Mic check 1 2 3 4 5. Perfect.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with Chief
After a long emotional battle with the Lawrence County School Board to keep R.A. Hubbard High School from closing, a federal judge ruled that the district is in their legal right to close the school by the end of the school calendar.
Now, there's word that 2 longtime teachers and a coach are losing their jobs after that announcement. Parents, students, and teachers say they plan to attend tonight's school board meeting asking for an explanation about these firings, and they plan to put up a fight over them. News 19's Archie Snowden joins us now live and has a preview of that meeting. Archie.
Okay, that's right, Christine. There are 2 teachers and a beloved coach who the parents say has been instrumental in the lives of these children that are being released. But that, of course, is unconfirmed at this time. But what we do know is that the teachers and the parents says they will attend this school board meeting in force. And I spoke to one of the parents who tells me that they will protest because they want consistent data and facts from the Board of Education to back up their firings from these teachers. And some say that this is an overreaction by the board. And Janice Bowling, one of the parents, says that R.A. Hubbard teachers, even after retiring from the school district, have been as important as family members and are desperately needed in the lives of these children.
I had some teachers that are retired and a principal retired, and they called me up and they helped my son got his credit up so he graduated 2019. I thank God for that. That's the kind of school we got. That's the kind of school we need.
Now, the attorney for the MAACP, who has been the legal counsel for the parents, says that the R.A. Hubbard's closure is now in appeal. That also has not been confirmed. The students and the parents have created a Facebook page in support of the coach. And again, R.A. Hubbard's closure is legal, but the parents say they will continue to put up a fight starting tonight. For now, we're live, Archie Snowden, News 19.
Thank you, Archie. A Tarrant man arrested after allegedly stealing a firefighter's car in the parking lot of the city firehouse, Terrence in Jefferson County outside of Birmingham. The police say a firefighter reported his car missing around midnight Saturday, and prior to the report, an officer alleged that he saw Russell Lee Wood walking towards the area where the car was stolen. About an hour later, officers with the Birmingham Police Department found Wood, who had the Jeep, and he was charged with first-degree theft of property and sent to the Jefferson County Jail on a $30,000 bond. The trial started today for the first man arrested as a result of Mobile County's push to test more rape kits. Roderick Williams, charged with sexually abusing a child. Williams had already pleaded guilty to rape in connection to a 1998 cold case. The Mobile County DA's office praised the nearly $2 million in grants from the Department of Justice. Those grants helped them tackle a backlog of rape cases, and as of 2020, Mobile police have gotten hits on 139 of the kits that were tested. Dozens of those were still active investigations.
The closing ceremony of the World Games 2022 will feature an all-star lineup of performers from the state of Alabama. Lionel Richie, a Tuskegee native and former member of the Commodores, is one of several Alabama artists slated to perform in Birmingham July 17th. Lionel Richie has sold more than 120 million albums as both a member of the Commodores and a solo artist. Other performers expected during the closing ceremonies will be Eufaula's Martha Reeves of Martha and the Vandellas, country band Alabama, Hoover's Taylor Hicks, Mobile rapper Young Blue, and the Blind Boys of Alabama. The closing ceremony will be presented by Coca-Cola United. Happening tomorrow, if you own a vehicle, there's an event that you may want to sign up to participate. AAA Alabama hosting a VIN etching event Tuesday in Decatur. It will chemically stencil your vehicle's VIN number into each piece of glass on your vehicle. Now, AAA spokesman Clay Ingram says having your vehicle's VIN number etched into the glass actually significantly lowers the chances of your vehicle being stolen.
If a car thief is thinking about stealing your car and sees that VIN number, odds are that they're going to pass up your car and go look for a different one. We know from 30-something years of stats that if you have this done, you're 64% less likely to have your car stolen. And if it is stolen, you're 85% more likely to get it back.
All right, this service is free to anyone and everyone, even those who are not AAA members. However, you must schedule an appointment ahead of time. You can find information on how to do that on WHNT.com.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with Chief Meteorologist Danielle Dozier.
Well, good afternoon. I'm still tracking that severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect here for the cities in the yellow box. We've seen this storm pulse up, producing some hail and some strong wind gusts. So we'll take another closer look at the radar. We also have a thunderstorm moving through Huntsville right now. It's not severe currently, but it is on the stronger side, and it's been capable of producing some small hail as well as some 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Want to zoom in here. Heavy rain over downtown Hillendale, out toward Milton Frank Stadium and Chelsea, Blossomwood, 5 points if you're familiar with this area. Montesano, some very heavy rainfall, and on the current path as it moves to the north, it's going to be affecting Blossomwood at 441, around Alabama and A&M around 455. Again, there is the potential for some small hail. Also noticing this is a warning that is in effect until 445. Quite a bit of heavy rain and lightning over Rogersville. This goes all the way back down just to the north and east of the Leeton area. And then we have a hail core that is north of Cairo with heavy rainfall. This is northwest of Salem, right over Scarce Grease here. You can see a lot of lightning associated with that. So we'll keep our eye on the radar, and if any new warnings are issued, we will let you know. But for now, we're talking not only severe weather, but hurricane preparedness. For more on Hurricane Preparedness Week, here's meteorologist Jessica Camuto.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Danielle. So May 1st through May 7th is National Hurricane Preparedness Week across the United States. And scenes like this across the area here, we get it from severe storms, but in other portions of Alabama, especially along the coast, they see it due to hurricanes. So with Hurricane Preparedness Week, it's giving you an idea of what we can expect as we head into hurricane season. That does begin on June 1st, continues through November 30th. The main thing is looking at determining your risk. Here in Alabama, in northern portions of it, our main risks are the potential for inland flooding, some tornadoes that may spin off of some of those rain bands that wrap in, and even some strong winds. You want to have a plan in place, and then on top of that, put together a severe weather kit. If your power goes out, it's important to have those batteries lying around. Along with that, you want to have some of non-perishable foods with some of those flashlights. So the main impacts we see from tropical systems here in the Tennessee Valley: inland flooding, like I've mentioned, threat of flash flooding, strong gusty winds, and even isolated tornadoes are possible as well.
All right, thank you, Jessica. The world of country music, remembering Naomi Judd with love and great respect.
The singer-songwriter became a huge star in the 80s and died on Saturday, one day before she entered the Country Music Hall of Fame. Her family said Judd died from the disease of mental illness.
Anthony Mason looks at last night's celebration of her life and career.
Love can build a bridge.
Naomi Judd was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame posthumously Sunday night, along with her daughter, Wynonna, as the Judds.
I didn't prepare anything tonight because I knew Mom would probably talk the most.
Her daughters, Wynonna and Ashley, came together to pay tribute.
My mama loved you so much, and she appreciated your love for her. And I'm sorry that she couldn't hang on until today.
This is the first time I've talked since saying goodbye. I feel so blessed, and it's a very strange dynamic to be this broken and this blessed.
The mother-daughter duo shared the stage less than a month ago at the CMT Music Awards, their first time singing together at an award show in more than 20 years. It would also be their last.
The love and only love can join the tribes of man.
All told, the Judds sold more than 20 million records, winning 5 Grammys in the process.
Love is alive and at our breakfast table every day.
Naomi Judd was candid about her health problems. She said a hepatitis C diagnosis forced her to stop performing in 1991.
Not being able to perform missed it so bad. I had panic attacks, was put on all kinds of medication.
She later returned to the stage after being told she was free of the virus. But in her 2016 memoir, River of Time, she also revealed her struggle with severe depression and her trauma from childhood sexual abuse. The Judds had just announced a final tour that was due to begin in September.
Though my heart's broken, I will continue to sing, because that's what we do.
Anthony Mason, CBS News.
The Judds were scheduled to perform this fall, October 15th, at the VBC. as part of their farewell tour. We'll be right back.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast, sponsored by Greenway of the Shoals. No fee. Now, your Weather Authority forecast, sponsored by Greenway of the Shoals. No fees whatsoever on your next car. A new way, the right way. GreenwayoftheShoals.com.
Welcome back. Good afternoon. I wanted to get you updated on the radar. We still have this severe thunderstorm warning for the cities in the yellow box. That's across portions of Lauderdale as well as Limestone and northern Lawrence counties there, as you see. Also a strong thunderstorm rolling through Huntsville, and we also have another strong thunderstorm moving through portions of Morgan County. So I'm going to come over here and do a little zoom in on the radar here, let you know exactly what we're seeing. And the strong thunderstorm that's moving through Huntsville, it is capable of producing some hail the size of nickels. We have this hail core that's right around the Greenbrier area that's north of Ardmore Estates. Also have the torrential downpours here over Huntsville and 5 Points. And then at one point, we actually did have a hail core that was associated with this cell that was north of Doug Hill. Still have a little bit of the pink shaded color, which is representative of where we are seeing a little bit of that hail. And then Moontown and Brownsboro, we also have quite a bit of heavy rainfall. If you're up on Montesano, you're also experiencing some very heavy rainfall at this time. And these showers and storms are moving very slowly to the north here for us this afternoon at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So I do want to track this one that's moving through the Huntsville area right now, and I'll go ahead and put a storm track on it from the leading edge of some of the heaviest rainfall as it does push off to the north at about 10 to 15. So places like Henson Hills at 459, Moores Mill at 512, and Buckhorn at 525 as that cell moves to the north at 10. It is capable of producing some of that smaller hail as well as the 60 mile per hour, 50 mile per hour winds rather. And then the storm that we were tracking here across Rogersville and the areas in the yellow box, looks like that warning has been allowed to expire at 4:45. But of course, we will keep you updated on if anything changes as we continue to progress throughout the evening. Now, we have continued to watch these showers and storms blossom across our area today. It's been very warm and humid. We had temperatures up to 87. Right now it's 84. Locally heavier rainfall, strong wind gusts, and small hail will be possible out of some of the strongest out there today. Temperatures are in the 80s, have a few 70s where it's rained. Dew points are in the 60s, so it's certainly humid out there for us. That puts the heat index in the mid 80s in some spots. Feels like 86 in Huntsville right now. And if you're out walking your dog tonight, just stay weather aware to changing weather conditions because we will be looking at that chance for some showers and thunderstorms. 65 overnight tonight, and we will be tracking a chance for a few pop-up showers and storms, especially across northwest Alabama later on tonight. These showers and storms will move across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee during the overnight and move on out of here. There's no tornado threat out there today. And as we head into the day tomorrow, it's partly sunny, very warm and breezy, with temperatures climbing into the middle 80s, 85 degrees, with winds that could gust to 20 and 25. Our extended forecast, warm and humid and unsettled. We're going to have more on this forecast coming up in the next half hour, but I also want to let you know we have a brand new extended forecast featuring the Shoals and Sand Mountain. You can catch it on News 19 each and every day. Very warm and humid with chances for storms in those areas as well.
All right, thank you, Danielle. In health news, Melanoma Monday is a day to raise awareness for the most serious form of skin cancer. Melanoma is one of the most common cancers found in young adults, especially young women. Dina Demetrius has one woman's story and her message to others.
Leah Adams says her life forever changed after being diagnosed with melanoma 2.5 years ago. She was 26.
I was embarrassed because I felt like I gave myself cancer, because I thought about all the times I should have worn sunscreen. I shouldn't have gone in a tanning bed.
As her dad was battling melanoma, her family urged her to get a suspicious mole checked.
It was starting to become black in the middle, uneven borders, edges, and there was a red ring.
Tanning beds are high risk behavior for melanoma and skin cancers, so even one trip to a tanning bed increases your risk of melanoma.
Dr. Melissa Piliong is a Cleveland Clinic dermatologist. The American Academy of Dermatology urges everyone to do regular skin checks. Follow the ABCDE rule: asymmetry, irregular border, varying color, diameter, melanomas are usually more than 6 millimeters, and evolving.
They may have symptoms suddenly like they itch or hurt.
Leah had surgery to remove her melanoma and some lymph nodes to see if the cancer had spread. Luckily, it was caught early.
I realized that I can just keep living a life of my pity party, or I can take what happened to me and share it with others and see if it resonates with someone else that may have had skin cancer or maybe putting off a skin check.
Her message for young women:
if you want to look tan or have a glow, there are so many great options with spray tans or self tanners, and it's way safer than going out in the sun.
She needs skin checks every 3 months and makes sure to protect herself outdoors. Dina Demetrius, CBS News.
Melanoma rates are increasing in the U.S. and have doubled over the last 30 years.
Today, under its new policy, the American Academy of Pediatrics announced it will abandon any medical guidance based on race. For years, pediatricians have followed guidelines linking race to risk for urinary infections and newborn jaundice. Dr. Joseph Wright, the lead author for the new policy, says the Academy will also make needed changes to educational materials, textbooks, and newsletter articles to purge outdated advice. The Academy is also urging other medical institutions to take a similar approach in working to eliminate racism in medicine. The next generation is flying high in California with a nonprofit that's introducing young people to aviation. The impact the program is having. It's next on Your News 19 at 4.
Hey, soundbite.
In Compton, California, a group of pilots have taken on a mission to help a new generation spread their wings and fly.
Chris Van Cleve has more on these future aviators.
All right, let's go. Oh, what do you mean let's? All right, your controls. Shoot, she's back, everybody.
Stop saying that.
She's back. Gently, please. There it is.
The future of flying looks a lot like 18-year-old Alicia Arnold. Her love of aviation started with a field trip to LA's airport and a chance meeting with a woman airline pilot.
I was just like her, and I couldn't wait to get into my first plane at 5.
Seeing a woman pilot,
Yeah.
put it in your head that you could do that.
Yeah, because I used to always think only men could do it, and so I saw her and I was like, yeah, I can do this, and now here I am.
Currently, 93% of U.S. pilots are white. Just a little over 5% are female, and only about 1% are women of color.
Good morning, guys.
But not here. Arnold and about 40 others ages 8 to 18 spend their Saturdays at Fly Compton, a nonprofit at that city's airport aimed at introducing young people to aviation and teaching those who will boldly go how to fly.
Are there students that you see in your class that you expect to see in an airline cockpit one day?
Yeah, I would say about 40 to 50% of the kids. I'll see them in the cockpit for sure.
There we go, bro.
Alaska Airlines pilot Ron Norman is one of Fly Compton's founders. The idea came early in the pandemic as a way to pay their aviation successes forward.
You're up. You send a message that you can do it. I mean, a guy like me from Compton, California, making it to this point, you definitely can do it.
As a national pilot shortage continues, Fly Compton is preparing future reinforcements. Arnold is on pace to be the program's first to earn a pilot's license. After college, she hopes to fly for Alaska Airlines.
Seeing people who look just like me living this dream, it's just like, wow, I can become part of this community. And if it wasn't for them, I honestly wouldn't be where I am today.
3, 2, 1, and look long.
Soaring to new heights.
And then, oh my gosh.
Proving the sky.
Did you feel that landing?
That was nice. Was it nice landing?
Is her only limit.
That was all me.
Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Compton, California.
And I want to update you on a newly issued severe thunderstorm warning that includes the city of Huntsville. Also have a strong storm that's continuing to move through Morgan County. But let's focus in on this warning is in effect until 5:15. It's for this cell right here that you see that's north of the city of Huntsville right now, southwest of Meridianville. It's over Cedar Valley, northwest of Cherokee Hills. That pink shaded color, that's where we have that hail core. So we're looking at quarter-sized hail as this moves to the north at about 10 miles per hour. Meridianville, it'll be in your area at 5:15. More updates on News 19 at 5 coming up.